sounds quite interesting, so I'm going to give it a go.
You've also got that common ground between you and the person you're in the queue with. You're both in the same predicament. You both got the same struggles, so you've instantly got that connection with someone, and then you can just start the conversation. And you'll find as you start more conversation with more people, you can very quickly turn into business. Like as soon as you ask them what they do for work, they'll ask you what you do for work. You can tell them exactly what you do, and that's just networking itself and starting the network process. Adam, I don't know if you're on Facebook as well. I've got any question on there, just stop me and shout them out, because I'm happy to answer them all, but I'll just go through the views.
Can I just ask a question with that one? Do you mind? Did the person that you were talking to about this give any kind of inspiration on how to start a conversation like that?
I can't for the life of me remember, Harriet, I'm afraid, but my advice would be keep it basic. Us English are incredibly good at talking about very basic things like the weather today, and very farcical conversation starters like, how are you, what are you doing? There was actually something, so I did a course in Australia called Dale Carnegie, and the process goes through opening conversations and talking about different topics and setting the scene. And the one thing that really stuck with me is they tell you to paint this picture of a house and the foundations of a house. So it starts with, whenever you talk to someone, the foundation is, well, what's their name? And then you move into the house and you look at face front on, you've got 4 windows, and you say, right, the bottom right window is, what do you do for a job? And then the bottom left window is, okay, so do you have any family? Top left is like, okay, do you have any kids? And then top right is like, okay, what are your ambitions? Or what are you working on? What do you do for a living? And where are you going to in the future? And then off the back of that, you've got at least 4 different topics to talk about that you can then go off and naturally as a tangent. You don't ask quick fire questions to people, do you? You ask one question. If they're interested, they'll probably say, oh yeah, so I did this, this and this. Oh, how about you? And it all stems from there. But if you're struggling, the basic ones are obviously name, family, what do you do for a living, what the weather is like today if you're really struggling, and what are your interests, sports, music, whatever it might be.
Cool, thank you.
I'd say as well with that example of a queue, like I'd use that commonality that you're both in the same situation. So like, oh God, this queue's took a while sort of thing. Like, how long have you been here for, and that sort of stuff. And then just start the conversation. If they want to continue it, they will.
Sure, yeah.
Is that someone else talking? I'm not too sure.
Is that a question?
It was very quiet if it was. I'm going to carry on, just put it in the chat or something if there was a question there. The next one is very similar, and it's transport. I haven't put public transport because this could be any sort of transport for me. Like, I've just come off the back of like 24 hours of flying, and when you're sitting next to someone on a plane is the perfect time to just start a conversation. Even if it doesn't turn to business straight away, you can just start the conversation with them. Again, you're both in the common place, you're both in the same grounds. The same on public transport as well. Harriet, you've been in London, you should know this like more than anyone, like public transport there, like the tram, the buses, like taxis, whatever network, wherever you are, you're going to be surrounded by more people if you're traveling from one place to another. So use that time wisely. Like, even if you don't look at it as, oh, I can make a sale off this guy, you look at it as, right, I'm going to have a conversation with this guy that's going to last 4 minutes, and I'm going to keep that conversation going for 4 minutes. Then you're working out how you're going to keep that conversation going, which in itself is developing your networking skills and developing your conversational skills as well, because that's what it's all about, and it's all about keeping the conversation going. So that's another tip on that one for transport. Airplanes is the perfect time as well, because you are stuck in a capsule with someone for a set amount of time, and you can discuss whatever you want about, and they can't really go anywhere. So that's the best thing I find anyway for doing that. Moving on. Business cards is another one that I've thrown in there. Now, business cards is one that I haven't personally done myself, so I can't speak too much, but having watched Michael Davidson, who is in this community in Bangkok, I think he must have like given out 100 business cards within 3 days. It was insane. Like, anyone he spoke to, whether they spoke English or not, got a business card off him, and it pays dividends because he's got an unreal amount of sign-ups, and he's just killing it in his business. So yeah, like just giving out business cards. I've just ordered some business cards myself as well, so I can start giving them out. But having that way of you've made a connection to someone, you've had that 2-3 minute chat with them in a queue or waiting for a sandwich or something like that. And then you can instantly give them a business card. They can follow it up. They can see your social channels. And it just, again, it keeps that conversation going. It gets them interested in what you're doing, gets them interested in you as well. So that's another really good tip for doing it.
Steve just jumped in.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Absolutely.
No, you go.
Go on, James.
Sure. Okay, sorry. I was just going to ask on the business cards, have you done all of them with anything Najib related, or is it just CEO movement?
Me personally, I've just ordered some that have just got me and my social channels on it. And then you can obviously expand. You can get different ones for the different conversation you're having. So you can have a Najib business card. You can have CEO business cards. Depending on the conversation you have with the person, what that person says, the way I go. I've just gone for me personally because I want to sell myself, and if I'm having a conversation with someone, I don't want them to think, oh, I'm Steve the Najib guy, or I'm Steve the CEO guy. They want to think, oh, I'm Steve and I can help them in their business, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's what I've personally done myself.
Cool.
What I was going to say is, I remember Mike throwing his business cards around in LA, and he was speaking to that many people. But I think I've got one of his in my wallet actually, and they've got the CEO logo on I think they cost him maybe £30 or something. I don't know where he got them. Maybe he got them in Thailand, but £30 for like hundreds and hundreds, and they look so professional. But yeah, he's mastered the business cards, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think every taxi driver in LA has got one of their business cards. Yeah, he loves chucking them out to people, and it works. Like, he's had leads come back off him. He's had emails come through. Like, I've just followed all your social channels, and I'm interested to do what you do as well, which is, so it's definitely proof there. And as I say, I've just ordered some, so I'm going to start doing it now. And they're really easy to do as well. You can set them up online in like an hour and get them ordered. The birthday message is a really key one. This is something I learned months ago, and it's something that I've got a lot of leads from. It's how many people, like, you go on Facebook every day, you get people saying, oh, it's like 4 people's birthday today, and you go around and everyone's posting on their wall saying, oh, happy birthday, and then the person's birthday just goes down and likes every single comment. Whereas if you don't post on their wall and you send them a message instead, so you send them a personal message saying, hi, happy birthday, I hope you have a great day. I think I'll probably have one person out of 100 that's not replied back to that message. They reply saying, oh, thanks for that. You can just go straight in and reply, oh, so how are things going with you? What are you doing these days? And it's just instantly striking that conversation with someone. So instead of just putting a post on their wall and you never hear anything back, you're actually starting a conversation with them, and you're getting them interested. They'll ask what you're still doing, what they're doing, and you can start the business conversation from there. Some people don't respond. Some people just say thanks. But then you know if they're interested, and then the next year comes around, you don't have to send them another message, sort of thing. It's entirely up to you. But it's worked really well for me, especially for like old school friends and people that see your content but they're too scared to come out and say something. If you start the conversation with them with a simple birthday message, they're instantly going to respond back to you and get and start thanking you and stuff. So
just to build on that, Steve. So this is like internet marketing, attraction marketing 101, like any special holiday like Christmas, Easter, birthdays, like religious days or whatever you can do and you can tap into, is a really good way of striking up that conversation. So I've had leads that when I first joined, I'd had good conversations with, but for whatever reason didn't happen. And then further down the line, their birthday popped up, so I sent them a message, or Christmas came around, so I sent them a Christmas message, and then actually you're reigniting that fire again, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. So sorry I didn't get back to you last time. Actually, let's talk about it now. I'm in a position that I want to talk about it. So in like the recruitment world, it's called like keep warm. So you're keeping a candidate warm essentially, because people might not be ready to activate right now, but actually in 3, 4, 6, 12 months even, people might be in a different situation. And so the smallest little trigger like that is really important. And they take that as a real personal message to them that's tailored and unique and that you care about them. And so then they're far more likely to then invest their time in you afterwards. I think I've sort of got this bit of a long-standing joke with one of my leads that when I very first joined, I started talking to him, and every single holiday, like Christmas, New Year, his birthday, I've messaged him, and to the point where it's almost like broken him down every single time. Every single time he's been like, I'm not interested, it's not the right time. And then the last time I messaged him, I literally out of the blue just said, oh, I hope you're well, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, right, cool, I'm interested now. How can I get started? And it's amazing that if you're relentless with it, that they will actually eventually crack under it, and they appreciate it.
It's an easy follow-up as well. Like, it's not like, oh, how are things with you? And you seem like, oh, you're just following up because you want to get them in the business. It's just a simple, you're reaching out to them. It's like you're giving them a gift, but you're not actually giving them anything apart from just a message. And you're going to follow with them anyway. Sorry,
Levy. I just wanted to add to that and say, I used to be scared if somebody said no to me to go back to them again and to go back to them again. But I learned something a little while ago, which is from people who do sales for a living completely outside of this industry. And they said it generally takes 7 no's before somebody says yes. And I know that in other industries, a little bit like this as well, it will take potentially months for people to jump in. So don't ever feel scared to go back to people if they've said no once in the beginning, because you might wear people down and they'll start realizing how good the opportunity is.
Yeah, no is next.
One, yes.
Have people as a friend on Facebook?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, because the friend might not say they're interested in the business, but that actually they really are, and they actually want your help on how to get started, but they're too afraid, they're too scared to reach out because they've never done it before. So
I don't tend to message people first, though. If they're friends, I'll probably wait for them to come to me just to say, what is it you're doing at the moment? Or why am I seeing all these posts?
That's why the birthday message works really well, because you're just reaching out and saying happy birthday, and then they'll say, oh, thanks. Like, oh, yeah, I see you're doing really well. Like, yeah, my business is going really well. And they're like, oh, so what do you actually do? And then it's like, they're in then.
Done.
They're in your spider web, as they say. But yeah, always, like, when I did door-to-door sales, well, going back to that point, Harriet, there, it was like, whenever someone says no to you, that's not the time to walk away. It was like, it's not until they shut the door in your face that you have to walk away, sort of thing. So that was the advice I got then. It's true in the online world, I've heard that as well, 7 points of contact before they actually trust you enough to give you their money or something like that. So.
And that's what it's about as well. It's trust. It's turning you from just someone trying to make a sale to someone that they've actually made a connection with. And those 7 points of contact, you're going to be talking about different things each time. So you're becoming friendly.
I'm pretty sure this is in this slide somewhere about following up as well. But amazing. Yeah, for sure. Couldn't agree more. Now, coffee shops is pretty obvious. But a really good lesson I learned from Josh Stanier as well is that I've seen him going around coffee shops, and he doesn't just go around coffee shops and speak to the person sat next to him. Like, if you're walking on a coffee shop and you see someone else on their laptop, look at what is on their laptop, look at what they're doing. The amount of times I've walked past someone and you look around and they're on ClickFunnels or they're in ManyChat and you're like, oh, so you do ManyChat as well, and it's just an instant conversation starter, and you already know they're interested or doing some sort of business if they've got that on their screen. It's not bad if you just have a quick glance around and see what's on their screen. I mean, if it's something ridiculous that's not got anything to do with it, then don't bother. But if there is something that's any interest to sort of Facebook, or if on Ads Manager or anything like that, you'll be surprised how many people are in coffee shops on a laptop and actually doing some sort of business work online as well. So it's another great place to network, great place to start conversations. And if you've got the business cards in a coffee shop, it's a great place to give them out as well, because they're there, you're not hassling them, they're there for a long time, usually if they've got the laptop out and they've got time to speak to you. So it's definitely another good one. Active in groups is another massive one I want to speak to. So when I first started doing this, I used to go out and send 50 messages in Facebook and just cold call, or sort of not cold call, but cold message as many people as possible from a group that they were in. And I quickly realised that if you're messaging 50 people every single day, Facebook, and no one's messaging you back, then Facebook are just seeing that as you're spamming people. Whether you're doing that from your post or you're doing that in a message, it's the same thing in their algorithm. So don't cold message just 50 people a day expecting one person to get back, because Facebook then see you're spamming people. They'll then put your posts down in the news feed, so you're not going to get the reach that you did get before, because Facebook are associating you with spamming someone rather than actually building conversations with someone. So the best way to get around that is when you're in a group or you're targeting people in a certain group. Say you're targeting people that like Airbnb in the UK, for example. You go on the Airbnb UK group and you just start a conversation with people, put a post up there, like add some friends that comment on the post. A really good one I've done with this is a vegan group. So it's a vegan UK group. It's got like 80,000 people. I'm being vegan myself, so it's like that's a niche that I can tap into. So I just went on there, asked the question, like, before Christmas, I was like, oh, what's everyone having on the Christmas dinner? You get like 150 comments on there. Facebook see that as you're engaging in that, you're engaging on the post, just liking, people are liking it, commenting, sharing it. And then from there, you get people adding, you get people talking to you, and then you just start the conversation rolling. And you bring in them leads subconsciously without them actually knowing they're a lead. And then they ask you what you do for a living. And again, it's just starting that conversation off again. So be active in groups, comment on other people's posts in groups, like other things. It doesn't cost you anything to like a post in a group, but then if someone sees that and then you make a post in that group that you've liked one of their posts, they can like your post and talk to you more. So it's just another great way to network. This is probably the number one way to get a new lead. If I could ask for any lead, it would be a referral, because you don't have to do any legwork with a referral. If you've got a lead or you've got a friend that's not right for the business and they're clearly not right for the business, and you've tried to make a lead, you've tried to get them involved and it's just not right. They've got 3 kids at home, they don't want a business, they just want their money each month and take it home and have an easy life, then ask them if they've got anyone interested in it. Because if I go to you, Harriet, because you're on my screen right now, if I go to you and say, oh, Harriet, have you got any friends that might be interested in business, but they don't quite know how to do it? If you had no idea what the online business was, or you wasn't interested, you go then to reach out to one of your friends. Oh, I know this guy online that's really good at business and he can help you with that. I don't have to make them trust me, because they trust you. And that trust factor, they just get passed across to me. So you've missed out all the things you need to do in the background to build that trust up, because it's already instantly for you. And I don't know if you want to talk a bit more about this, Josh, with what your background and referral sort of thing. But
yeah, man. So I was just going to touch on that as well, in the sense that some of these overlap. So look at any opportunity that you receive a service from someone. So when you get a coffee from a coffee shop, when you get your hair cut, when you get your nails done, whatever it might be, always see that as a chance to not necessarily sell to the person that's sat in front of you or giving you that service, but think about their network as well. So a couple of weeks back, like I was sat in the seat of the barber that I go to, and we just got chatting about business. And in the end, it turns out that like his mate needs this or his mate needs that. And it's not just a magic that you're able to sell here. It's also your personal branding skills, your Facebook advertising skills, you're setting up an online portfolio, for want of a better phrase. You can help other people with that can then in turn help you with your Enagic business as well. So I know myself, Steve, Josh have had a look in the past with small businesses that we've helped, and we've earned a bit of extra cash that way to then help fund the Enagic side and keep the ads going, and if not scale the ads up even further. And then, yeah, to your point, Steve, about referrals. So I come from a recruitment marketing background, and referrals are the number one, right? So it's people who are already hot, they're already involved in your brand, or understand who you are indirectly through the person that's associated to you. So they're coming in, they understand it, they're pretty much pre-qualified themselves because they want to prove themselves to you as opposed to you having to prove to them. It's sort of like, oh, hey, like I know Steve, and Steve's a really good friend of mine, so you know I'm really good at this, I'm really good at that, I think I'd be a good fit for your business, whatever it is that you do. And you find that people actually then almost throw themselves at you because they really want to be a part of what their friend is involved in, or perhaps the opportunities that their friend has been offered, but perhaps wasn't quite right for them. So yeah, referrals, if you can go down that route, then fantastic. And don't be scared, as Steve said, to qualify out people. And if you do that, don't be scared to then ask them if they've got any friends, or if their network, or if they know of anybody that actually might be interested in this. It's perfectly acceptable to do that.
Definitely asking the question is one as well. And with most of these, don't focus on the result of making the sale from it. Focus on the result of improving your skills and your networking skills. Because if you can talk to someone in person, you can guarantee that you'll be able to talk to them online as well. It's very transferable. And having that skill set of being able to talk to someone and sell to someone without them knowing you're selling to them is just a massive factor in being able to network and grow your business as well, and your team. So yeah, the next one is just using all platforms. So obviously we are very Facebook ads orientated with Instagram and Facebook, but there's other platforms out there which like Twitter, LinkedIn. I can't remember the other one that was there. There's like an app is it Shape or something that you can use as well. There's lots of other platforms that you can use. You don't have to use it as regularly as you use Facebook and Instagram, but just know that there's people out there. I know, Josh, you have a lot of experience on LinkedIn, which I don't personally have, but that's a great way to just start a conversation again. Is that the case, yeah?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's essentially another Facebook, but just more professional. So people are spending their days on LinkedIn. So you see it as like Instagram, Facebook. I kind of, if I've got a break, I'll be on it, or of an evening, I'll be on them. But actually during the daytime, a lot of people who, particularly in office jobs at least anyway, resort to things like LinkedIn for news, for more jobs, for general conversation and discussion between other people. So you can almost target them whilst they're sat at the desk in work. And again, it works like any other social channel. Video is good, visual is good. And interestingly, so I read an article yesterday that spoke about the type of engagement. It's less about you trying to sell yourself. It's more about you just adding value and just generally being conversational. So if you look at LinkedIn, what do you get? A lot of recruiters, hey, look, this job is available. Do you want this? Blah, blah, blah. Or companies selling themselves. And so the algorithm actually weights those further down because people see a lot of that naturally. And what it does is it lifts all of the good content, which is like, this is what I've done with my day today, or this is what me and my friends have been up to, in a slightly more professional tone, obviously. But then it lifts those to the top of the algorithm so that more people can then see them, much like it would do on Facebook, where they're looking for social proofing, which is essentially looking for others to lead the way and assume the actions of those. So anybody that's posting memes, for example, memes go viral because people comment on them, people share them, people like them, people talk about them. And that's why they're always on your newsfeed, taking over the page. So look at ways that you can have engaging posts that almost look quite native. I was listening to a podcast yesterday I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, sorry, Steve. Listening to a podcast with Molly Pittman from Digital Marketer. And she was saying that all of the ads that work most effectively for her are ones that look like she is friends with the people on Facebook. So what she means by that is there's literally just a photo of her and a friend, not brushed up, not anything, literally with arm around a friend. And it looks as if she is the friend of, say, Steve or myself or whoever. So when you're scrolling down, you think, oh, cool, like, who is that? I don't necessarily recognize that person. So you start to read the post and then you realize that actually it's an advert. And that is a new way of catching people. And they're getting a lot of engagement, a lot of click-through rates, a lot of interest in what they're trying to sell, because they're not trying to sell. They're not obvious, like, this is the opportunity, this is what I want to sell, like ramming it down their throats.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And just to bring it back to the platforms as well, is that think about your timing when you're doing stuff. So if you are targeting people that are in jobs, in specifically office jobs as well, there's no point you posting a Facebook post out at 2 o'clock when they can't use Facebook in work. But if they can use LinkedIn in work, it might be best you putting a LinkedIn post out there and leaving that Facebook post to schedule it for 6 o'clock when everyone's at home and they can use Facebook, and they're going to use Facebook because they haven't been on it all day. So just think about when you're using the platform and when the best time is to target people from that, if that is what your niche is as well, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll just jump in on that one, Steve, quickly. Yeah, I know we're not really talking about Facebook, but I advise this as well. If you're ever posting anything on Facebook or your fan page or whatever it is, I always do it, I would say, from 4 p.m. onwards. And if you're going to do a live video as well, I always do it from 4 p.m. onwards, because the live video will stay on. The live videos go straight to the top of people's newsfeed, I believe. And they'll do that for a good few hours after, like, if I do it at 4 p.m., I would probably say it's going to pop up around people's news feeds until maybe 7 or 8 p.m., which is the times that everyone are scrolling on Facebook, like Steve said.
Exactly, yeah. And another good tip for that as well, if you're going to put an Instagram post out there, do it between 12 and 1, because like some people use Facebook on their like lunch breaks, but a lot of people will just sit and scroll 2 minutes through Instagram, and your post is going to be at the top of that feed between 12 and 1, which is exactly when they're going to be on it as well. So it's another good tip there. Definitely. Facebook Messenger is another one as well. It's something I did over this Christmas. Is I went through back all my Facebook messages since I started in Enagic. So if you just started last week, then it's like you've got a week's worth of people. If you started a year ago, you've got a year's worth of people there. But every single person you spoke to in your Facebook Messenger is either going to be a lead or is going to be connected with CEO. So if you take the CEO ones out there, and then all you've got left is old leads that you can follow up with, you've got a list of people there that might not have been interested when you first spoke to them, but you might not have followed them up, or you haven't followed them enough times to make sure you're always going back to your Facebook messages. Because I know ManyChat have got the list now, but ManyChat don't include people that weren't there before you subscribed. So you've got people there that might be like 6 months ago that you spoke to about the business that wasn't right for them then, but then you start the conversation with them again and you get that going, and then it just brings it back to the top of your Facebook. They're going to start interacting with your posts, and it's just another way of finding that new lead that you might have missed before. And Instagram outreach is the last one on this list for it. Now, the reason I put Instagram on there is because you can target very specific people that are posting about very specific things, and you can see how engaged they are and how active they are on social media, and you can also see what sort of following they've got and how they are within themselves. Whereas on Facebook, you have to scroll through quite a lot of their newsfeed to find out on their timeline what they are about and who they are. Whereas Instagram can do it straight away. You can see it within a good few seconds who the person is, if there's someone that you think you'd resonate with, and just reach out to them and start the conversation. There's no issue with you just sending 10 messages out to people like, oh, I've just seen a couple of your posts on your page, they're really good, I'd love to have a chat about what you do and how you work, or what's going on with your life right now, sort of thing. There's no issue in any sort of algorithm with that. And just reaching out to 5 people a day, 10 people a day, it's just 10 new leads that you're attracting to you. You're not actually paying for it. It's just a free lead out there. And some will turn into leads, some won't turn into leads, but you'll find that even if they don't turn into leads, you'll get another follower on your page, you get another person following your social media. And then a month down the line, once you've got that conversation, got that connection, you can then ask them for a referral as well. So that's how all this stuff does sort of intertwine, I think the word. I'm not sure what the word is there, but they all intertwine together, and you can really start to build them up and build the social proof for yourself and getting leads from all angles, because that's what you really want. You don't want to be solely reliant on Facebook ads, because like Facebook ads is amazing, but there's so many other ways you can learn your skills, you can attract new leads to your business without just solely relying on Facebook ads. That's, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Adam, or...
I think you covered it, mate. But yeah, like there's so many ways, and you just never know. Like you might put an Instagram post out, someone might just resonate with that, who's had a bad day at work or whatever the situation is, and they might just message you out of the blue, and you're like, you can lead the way. You can take it from there as you would, I guess, from a message to your Facebook fan page. Just let the conversation flow, and take it wherever it goes, I guess. But yeah, there's so many different ways. I mean, sometimes I think we've got the Facebook blinkers on sometimes, where we solely focus on our ads, and then when you put it into something like this, Steve, it just opens up the mind a bit more, really.
Yeah, it's just like getting all those options in there, and that's something that I really did take from Bangkok, is that how many people are doing different things and not using it online for the Facebook ad side of it, but using it online just to network with people and hone their skills. Like there was a really good person I spoke to that was selling door to door, and what they do is they go around door to door, and when they've made that first sale from they don't sell like trifecta or anything, they just sell the actual one machine itself, but they sell that one machine, and once they've sold that one in that street, they'll go back around that whole street and make sure they've gone and everyone had told them they bought a machine as well. And it's like the amount of extra sales you're getting, even though that was a lead that said no to you, going back to it, and now you're telling them some more information about it, and they're going to want to buy it because someone else in their street's bought it. And it's just the same with online. Like if you can social proof it online, you do the same thing. You sell a product to this person, then you tell one of your leads, oh, this person just bought this, and now they're doing this, and now they quit their job. It's just bringing that whole circle back around again.
Yeah, I would add to that as well, Steve. Like we have the upper hand, we have an advantage. We can give them the water, and it's not costing us a penny. I don't know if Jack's on from my team, but Jack. I mean, this is just back to the online, but a bit of offline as well. Basically, Jack Jones on my team, he had a new member sign up to CEO Movement called Christy. I don't know if she's on the call as well, but basically Jack sent Christy some Yukons, some tablets across by post, I think he did it, and Christy has been using them, and she's just waiting on her credit card for her trifecta. So just little things like that. We've got the products already, so why not just let anybody that's interested in using them use them? Why not give it them?
Yeah, to add to that as well, my dad started taking Yukon. Like I didn't realise this. He was just like, his doctor told him to start taking turmeric, and he was bought some from Barrett. So I was like, Dad, that's literally what I do. Gave him some like Yukon, and now he loves it. He's going around work telling everyone about this amazing like Yukon like turmeric tablet, and he's like giving them out at work now and generating interest from that. It's mad how like you don't realise what's happening, but it just happens naturally if you just let that go out and bring back it. I know we are sort of in that time, but there is sort of just some tips I've put together for. So the whole basis of those 10 points was to get people talking to you, to start the conversation so you can improve your skills in having that conversation, and ultimately getting them to sign up to CEO and buy Trifecta, which is the main goal. And these are just useful tips that that I've sort of put together, that I've been using now to when I'm speaking to people, just to make sure that I'm on the right track. I know where the conversation is going, I'm steering in the right direction and not going to lose them off the road sort of thing, and not have them as leads. I'm just going to have a little drink. So the first thing, as always, is to know what problem you're solving. So the first time you talk to someone, you're not selling them anything. What you need to realise is the first time you're speaking to someone, you are trying to solve their problem. And if that problem is getting a business which will enable them to get more money, then you can solve that problem for them. But if their problem is that they don't, I don't know, that their car's broke down and they can't fix their car, then you can't solve that problem, and the business isn't going to solve that problem for them in that time. So make sure you're always firstly aware of what problem they solve. I reached out to, when I was in Colombia, I reached out to a digital nomads group in Colombia, and what I found from reaching out to that group was that a lot of people had businesses online already, and they weren't looking for me to give them another business. They just wanted help on their business, and like some of them I could help, but I was just solving a wrong problem that wasn't going to make me any money in the long run. So you have to really know what problem you're solving so you can make sure that target is good, and have that in mind before you start speaking to your lead. The second is let them talk. So whenever you're talking to a lead, always make sure that they're saying more than you, because at the end of the day, when you're talking, you're not letting them talk. You don't find out the information you need from them. So always make sure they're telling you more. The easiest way to do that in a messenger is if you're just sending a message. When they send you a message, you can see if it's going to be smaller than theirs. If you're doing voice clips, then just go on the time and how quickly they talk to your talk. But always make sure that they're talking more than you. Because if you start talking more than them, then you're just selling them, and you're stopping them talking and telling you what they want. The next one is find out what they need, which is very similar to the problem solving, but you can solve that problem and still not give them what they need. So you need to make sure that you're allowing, when they're talking to you, you're finding out what their needs are, what their goals are, what their dreams are, what their family problems are, what their money issues are, so you can then help resolve that problem with signing up to the CEO and signing up with an adjunct, because that ultimately will help a lot of what they need, but they just might not see it at the moment. So you need to get them out of their shell. You need to let them talk about their dreams. You need to let them talk about what their perfect day looks like, so you can then come back and give them exactly what they need. This is, we've talked about following up before, but yeah, always follow up with the lead. So if I send someone a message and then I don't hear back from in 24 hours, I just go back to them and say, hey, I haven't heard back from you. Everything okay? Or if you haven't followed up for like a week, a month, or however it is, always make sure you're trying to follow up as much as possible, because as Harriet said, it is the 7th point of contact when people usually do start to trust you. So if you're not following up, you're just sending one message, don't hear back from them, that's it, gone. It's just a waste of a lead then. Obviously, you can qualify them. I think one of the points in here is to qualify the lead, and if they're not right, then you can let them go and allow more leads to come in. But always make sure you're following up to the point where you know if they're going to be right for the business or not.
Steve, just on that one real quick, sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Steve and I had the luxury of spending a lot of time in Mike Hale over in Thailand. And one thing he said that really stuck with me was, you do not stop chasing or following up with somebody until they literally say stop, like, until they literally tell you to say, right, I really do not want to hear from you anymore, or they block you. And it's so true that you have to approach someone, and what are the chances of them being in the right place, thinking about an online opportunity or thinking about bettering themselves at the right time of day. All of these different variants come into play. So the idea is that you follow them up consistently in the right manner. So whether it's a birthday message, like we mentioned earlier, whether it's just a friendly hello, whether it's a, hey, have you thought any more about this? Keen to get your thoughts on it. Anything like that, until the point in which they turn around and say, look, I'm just genuinely not interested. At which point you say, okay, fair enough. Thank you for listening to me, or thank you for talking to me anyway. It was great to talk to you. Carry on with your day, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, that was, for me, was one big takeaway from Mike Hale, was that he always follows people up, and he has a lot of success with it. So he has a lot of people that came in a while ago that he's consistently chipped away at and date with, and as a result, he now has more people that have signed up off the back of that.
Yeah, and that's true with like leads and sign-ups. If you've got a sign-up that's been there 6 months, not done anything, keep following up like they are a lead, because once that sign-up is done and they're in the CEO movement, then it's you start the sales process of getting them to buy a trifecta in an agile. That's where the sales process starts. So make sure you're following up on both fronts there. Yeah, cheers there, Josh. That's good insight there. The next thing is giving them something. So I'm sure every single person in here, even if you just started last week, has got a PDF about online business, or got a PDF from a network marketer, or got something online that they can then give out to people that they can use. So make sure if you haven't, then create your own. There's no issue you saying what are the best 3 things about working online. Put it in a PDF document, just send it to leads. Like if you're followed up 3 or 4 times and you get no response, just go like, hey, I've got this document, I was thinking of you and I wrote it, I hope you take some value from it, let me know what your thoughts. They're going to see that you're giving them something for absolutely free. You don't want anything in return apart from them to message you back when you message them. When they message you back, you can then start the conversation up. So if you haven't got something to give, then just drop me a message. I'll send you, I've got too many PDFs to realise from network marketers and stuff like that, and you can put it in your own words, you can make your own. But yeah, just give something of value away, even if it's just you get your phone out, you take a 30-second video, which is personal to them. You're talking about what you already spoke about with them. They see your face, they see you talking directly to them, they're going to respond to you. So anything you can give them just to keep them warm and make them think about what they can do online as well. It's just definitely something you should be doing, in my opinion.
I agree with that, Steve, 100%. Another angle from this, not even giving people value in respect of what we do as an online business, whatever. I've sent out before on my bulk emails that I send, like just a free PDF of a book or something like that. And where I got that from, I just literally searched free PDF and put the book title in on Google, and like tons of different websites come up. And a lot of them you don't have to pay for the free PDF. So you could just reach out to someone and say, like Steve said, all polite, how are you doing? We've not spoke for a long time. I just grabbed a copy of this free PDF. And if it's a business book, like we recommend in the group, like Think and Grow Rich or whatever, and someone does actually, someone does actually read that, then you could follow up with them a few weeks after, give them a bit of time to read it, and say, how did it go? And the chances are they might have read it and they've got a bit of a business mindset, especially more of a business mindset than they had before you sent them this book.
Absolutely. If you're brand new, like if you've just got affiliated like that a few weeks ago, if you just signed up, if you go to, there's a website called freeebooks.com. If you sign up to that, you get like 10 free books when you first sign up. I think it's like £7 a month after that, but you can get the free 10 books. Like I've got books on like 4 tips to start an online business, 10 reasons why you need an online business in this generation, all stuff like that you can just get off there and for free. So, and then you can obviously give that to your leads as well. Another thing I'd say about giving them something as well, if you've got someone that's signed up that's really keen to get started but they can't get the money, there's no issue with you just sending them a copy of a book. Like just go on Amazon, ask them for their address, give them a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. It'll only cost you £5. If you then giving them that book inspires them to go out and get finance and buy a trifecta, it'll be worth it for you and it'll be worth it for them as well. So there's no issue with you giving out something like that as well. This is one that I did a lot when I first started. Is just don't ask pointless questions. Anytime you ask a question, make sure you know why you're asking that question. You know the response that you want. So whenever a lead comes to me, I will never ask a lead how they are, because realistically, I don't really care how they are. They don't really want me to know how they are. They want to know if they put more info on my ad, they want more info on what the product is, or they want to start the conversation about business. They're not bothered in the necessities of hey, how are you? I know when I get someone message me saying, hey, how are you? Like, I'm not bothered about responding, because that's not why they're asking me that question. That's not why they're starting the conversation with me to ask me how I am. And there's lots of different things like that. Like, don't go into conversations too much about like something else that's not related to what you are doing. Keep that car on the road, going to the right place, go from A to B, and don't sort of veer off too much, because you're just going to end up spending a lot of time and you haven't really qualified the lead yet at that point to make sure that that question is worthwhile for you. So always make sure you know what answer you're looking for when you ask the question to a prospect or to a lead. I think that brings me back onto qualifying them as well. So when you do have a lead, make sure that you are qualifying. As Josh says, always follow up with the lead. But if you've got a lead that is generally just not right for you, you don't resonate with them, it's a guy from Zimbabwe that's got like no money and doesn't even have a laptop or a phone, then it's not going to be any good for you to be telling them about your business, because they're never ever going to be able to sign up or get a product anyway. So make sure you are qualifying the lead, make sure you're making that they're going to be right for you, and because ultimately the people that come into this you are going to be working directly with, you're going to be speaking to on a weekly basis, so make sure that you're happy to be working with them as well when you do qualify them. And that down to like the pointless questions and qualifying them do go quite hand in hand, so just make sure you're qualifying. And did someone want to jump in then, or no? Carry on. So yeah, this is one with the whole taking your prospect from being a very cold prospect that first sees you to the point of sales. This is very much a sales journey, and the whole journey starts from that point A is when you first speak to them, and then the way the journey goes is you have to get your lead or your prospect to know you firstly, so they know who you are, what you do. Then they have to like you, so they have to go from know to like, which is another point of contact when they realise, oh, this is that guy again, he's doing this, he's giving this away, he's giving me this value, he's giving me a PDF. And then once they like you, that's when they start to trust you, which we were talking about earlier. And that's when you hit that trust mark and you get them on a journey to trust, that's when they really they'll sign up, they'll allow you to take their money off them, which is basically what you want to do, and allow them to help you and really give you their deep dreams, their aspirations, what they really want to achieve online. That's a question I do ask people a lot, is like, what are you looking to achieve in the online world? And then that just opens them up. It gives you their dreams, it gives you their goals and what they want to achieve. Do you want to add anything to that, Josh?
No, mate, spot on. I'm just replying to Sarah Jane's comment. What questions would you ask to qualify your leads? So I think what I'd recommend is, given the time constraint, maybe we can hop on a live at some point this week and we'll go through a few ways to qualify.
A few qualifying questions, yeah, definitely, absolutely. I've got some great questions. Really want to find out what their why is. If they're just they're looking, like, I've had lots of comments saying, oh, I need to make this amount of money in a month. And you're like, well, yeah, go and try that somewhere else. I'm not in that to make you this much money in a month. If you're on this much money over 5 years, that will keep residual, then come back and talk to me. But there's lots of quite different questions you can ask like that. You can qualify them, and yeah, we can do another live or do another Mastermind next week and go through qualifying questions for sure. Add that to your list, Adam. This is another big thing as well, is remembering that you are speaking to another human, so don't try and get the perfect script for talking to someone online. I searched for hours and hours trying to get my perfect prospect script, but there just isn't one there, because you are speaking to a human. Every human is different, but different experiences. There are sort of personality types and traits that you can go through. There's a really good network marketer called Tanya Eliza, who gives out lots of free PDFs. Again, you can use those, and she talks about the 4 personality types that people have. She puts them in colours like red, blue, yellow, and green, I think it is. And then you have different targeting strategies and different ways of talking to each prospect depending on what colour their personality is. So it's just all about remembering that you are speaking to another human. At the end of the day, if you're going to get on the phone and speak to them, if you're going to get them on the Mastermind or speak to them, that it is actually a person. It's not just a name you're seeing on the screen, and asking them questions and just being real with them and being authentic to yourself. And don't write "Hey brother" if you've never said brother in real life. Just write whatever you would say and speak it from your words and no one else's, because that's what they're going to buy into. They're going to buy into you. So I think that is it. That's the last one, is just to keep going. Don't stop. Keep talking to leads, keep following up, and the success is everywhere in the community. So just don't stop, as I'm sure Harriet Hayes will attest to. And that's it. Yeah, that's everything I had. So I don't know if there is any questions in there, Adam, or on Facebook or anything. But
no, Facebook's been quite quiet tonight, but we've had a few people watching. But yeah, great presentation, Stephen. I guess it's just opens his mind up again a bit more, just to think out of the box and I mean, these points are all valuable, and again, I can jump on a live this week if we, or we can do next week's as qualifying questions, because it is quite an important part of the journey that you said there, like getting your prospect to open up more than you're actually doing the talk, you're doing the typing or whatever. I think a good scenario is when your prospect is sort of, obviously lead the conversation, but when your prospect is opening up to you, that gives you the information to lead them to wherever it is you want to lead them, whether it be paying money to join CEO Movement, whether it be just leading them to the webinar, or whether it be leading them to a trifecta and explaining the benefits of a trifecta. Then there's a different type of conversation and questions asked on each part of that journey and process. So it's definitely something that we can get our heads into next week, maybe, for the questions. But yeah, great presentation, that, Steve.
There it is, yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, I would say with qualifying as well, like, don't be scared to be yourself. Like, if someone looks really excited, you've sent the web class, they're like, I don't have time to watch it, I'll watch it tomorrow. And then you can, you watched it, you said you watched it today, and they're like, no, I still haven't got around to it. But just be straight with them, like, just say, like, okay, it obviously looks like you're not too interested in what I'm doing, so I'm not going to follow you up anymore, and I'll be taking you off my list. So I do thank you for your time, appreciate your time, but I'm going to be moving on to people that are more interested. And 9 times out of 10, they'll come back and they'll watch it instantly as soon as you send that message, and they'll qualify themselves to be in. So
the minute you take something away from somebody, they want it.
Exactly that, yeah. So yeah, don't be scared to do that either. So, but yeah.
And Gonzalo said just in the Facebook chat, do you have the link again for the books website, Steve?
Yeah, I'll put it in the link on Facebook if you want. It's a green one, free. It's free-ebooks, I think, or something.com, but I'll stick it in the Facebook group, yeah.
Okay, thanks for that.
They email me every day, so.
Yeah, you can't get the free books without getting bombarded with emails, but you got
Yeah, I got 10 free books, and now they won't stop emailing me to sign on for them. But yeah, no, it's definitely good, definitely worth it.
But they'll wear you down soon. 7 tries, and you'll go for it.
Absolutely. As soon as I need another ebook, I'll be in there.
Cool. Anyone else got anything to add or questions that we can cover? Cool. Right, well, cheers, Steve. Cheers, Josh. We'll get our heads together for next week's as well.
For sure.
I hope everyone has a good week or weekend, whatever.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.